1, 2, 3. Hey guys, Silver Skull Gamer back again. This should be the video right after my Legion of the Damn Finecast guys. So this came in the same order. Once again, I hate ordering direct from GW, but I just have not been able to find a good proxy for Thunderfire Cannon. I mean, there's some out there. The ones I want, part of it is out of stock, and it's been out of stock for a while, so I had to break down. And, well, I didn't have to. I chose to break down and order the Finecast Thunderfire Cannon. So, let's take a look. And I've got the one I got from eBay here, metal. So now we have a direct metal to, Finecast comparison. God, there are so... I mean, look how many... Okay, there's the metal. Here's the Finecast. Look how much stuff I have to cut out of those tracks. All those little vent lines, or whatever they're called. Look at all that. Look how much stuff I have to cut away, which is... The more you have to cut away, the more risk there is to screw it up and damage the actual piece. Goodness gracious. Now, okay, so there's a direct comparison right off the bat with the tracks, is that the tracks on the Finecast piece, both tracks are misaligned. Can you see that? It got into focus there for a second. It wants to focus. It wants to, but it can't. There it is. See that? They are slightly off. That's both tracks. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, look, that's even worse. The metal? No. Not misaligned. And I think that metal gets a bad rap for soft detail just because when it's bare metal, yes, it is hard to see the detail. Just because of the glare, the way metal reacts with light. And this is just soaked in super glue. My God, this may have actually been glued to a base because there's so much super glue. Don't mind the dog scratching. So there's your first direct comparison. So Finecast, finest miniatures in the world, can't line the tracks up correctly. Boo. Alright. Now, the Thunderfire Cannon is a big, heavy model, and that's definitely where metal starts to fail, is larger models. And I know that because I have two Crute Oxes that I had to put together, and they both were huge pains in the ass. They required pinning, lots of glue, and green stuff to fill some gaps. So I know about that. And here we can see this is the metal, and we can see how poorly that's going to fit together. Right? I mean, look at that. Ugh, and there's really, I mean, and there's no, like, look how far off that is aligned. That barrel band is so far off. Look at that. I mean, that's just piss poor. And I've looked at it, And it seems to fix it is going to take like a lot of creative work. I mean, pewter or whatever this is, white metal, is kind of soft for metal. Um, you know, and I could like jam them together, press it together, and it looks like the guy did actually try to glue this together at one point. It just didn't stick because there is some dried glue. That's terrible, right? That's awful. So, holy crap! Oh my God! Look, this is ridiculous. Look at all these. I mean, is that all that necessary? Does this stuff flow so poorly that that's how many? Ugh. Ugh, so ridiculous. Alright, so let's test this out. I'm not gonna do a real good job here because we're just dry fitting. Oh my gosh, man. You have to expend more effort into. I see it now. It gets confusing because now you don't really know. I almost clipped off part of the model because it just looks like more vent line. See that? If I didn't have another Thunderfire Cannon here to see that this little triangle is part of the model, I might have clipped off this whole piece right here. Jeez. Oh my. What in the world? Alright. Let's see what happens. Wow. Um, it fits just as poorly. That is incredible. It actually is fitting together worse. I guess. I don't know. These fit so loose that I'm not sure. Like, not only are they misaligned front to back, but also up and down. Like, look at that. But they fit together so loosely that I can kind of force them down, I guess. Wow. So if I so the bottom is almost just as bad. Yep. So Thunderfire Cannon, you're screwed either way. I don't know. It's just finest miniatures in the world. My ass. Like they can't even cast. Like if they could actually execute. I mean, I have to compare Games Workshop to one of my want to be favorite third party companies out there, which is Puppets War, because Puppets War has amazing designs, and I'm waiting to give them another shot. I'm waiting on their Ripper Destroyer models to be released, and I'm going to order a set of destroyers as possible Centurion counts as. But my experience so far is that Puppets 4 cannot execute the casting on their designs. They have amazing designs, but the casting is just subpar compared to other models. Some people report they have great experiences. I haven't ordered from them in probably a year or more, so I'm hoping that things have gotten better. But Games Workshop can't execute. There's no execution. There's no, you know, I mean, this Tech Marine guy is awesome, but let's see. Well, it's pretty good. Okay, the Tech Marine on this is pretty good. Probably better than the Legion of the Damned guys as far as his body goes. There's some little flash. Um, he's fairly good. But this antenna is not a smooth cylinder. Like it's indented. Almost, I don't know. There's imperfections in his antenna. So that was going to look weird. Like, why isn't it a smooth, symmetrical cylinder? It's kind of strange. Um, there is a mold line that goes across the top of his helmet and back over the back. Okay, that is pretty good. These little support legs are terrible. Like, I mean, you can see all the flash, but also the detail is just like soft. Okay, this is just soft. It's really soft and uneven edges. Those are bad. Um, Now, to be fair, okay, here's the metal, and you can see there is a mold line, right? There's a bit of a mold line issue on the edge. That's okay, because now this provides us the opportunity to do, which is something I've always wanted to see, and I've never really seen. I'm sure there's some pictures out there, is a painted Finecast and painted metal models of the same figure, and that's where we would see which one looks better. My money is on the metal, honestly, because Finecast has a tendency for like flat surfaces to be convex or concave. Um, and just like I said, softer detail, stuff's harder. My guys are not show quality. I don't put out, but I do what I can as far as cleanup work. But because they're not show quality, I'm not gonna like kill myself over it. Like here's an example. The resin can't even do like flat surfaces. Um, can you see that shadow right here? See this shadow? That's an uneven part of the flat surface. This is supposed to be a flat surface. It's a big fat armor plate, right? God, what this guy do with this metal? Okay, this metal's a little dinged up, but that ain't because of the casting. And actually, it does have some dried super glue, but that's a smooth surface. Like there's no uneven valleys and ridges, you know. But Finecast will put valleys and flat surfaces, and if I painted it really well, you'd probably be able to see that. So, and and here you go. See how it's warped. Like there's a huge curve on the top of this. Huge curve. Uh, it's not perfect, but it don't have as big as a wavy curve in it. So I don't care what y'all say. In my world, Finecast sucks. Its only redeeming quality is that it is easier to convert. It's easier to chop a guy's arm off and replace it um, with Finecast than metal. That's absolutely true. Um, I don't do a lot of heavy conversions on infantry figures, even in vehicles. I don't really do a lot of conversion work. I did build that Ares, which was a huge project for me. Um, but yeah, so you know, Finecast is it's not fine, and it's fail cast. I will call it fail cast until they get rid of it. Um, People say that their intent is for this stuff to go away and everything's going to go to plastic. I just don't see that happening. Or it's going to take another 10 years for all these specialty one-off models like the Thunderfire Cannon to ever get a plastic sprue. You know, or it's going to take another edition to where they can basically take all of these specialty figures and come up with combo kits um, to get their money's worth out of tooling the plastic to make these models. Like in the 7th edition Space Marines, you'll have a Thunderfire Cannon, and then they'll come up with, a anti-air version of the Thunderfire Cannon. So that way Games Workshop can get their money's worth and make basically two kits, from the sprue or something. I just don't ever see all this stuff going to plastic, or they're just going to get rid of. They're finally going to just phase out like all the best sculpts in their wheelhouse, which are the Space Marine chaplains. All your Space Marine chaplains will just go away, and we'll only have the. Oops, technical difficulty there. We'll only have the um, what you call uh, toilet paper chaplain. It came that plastic sprue guy that comes with the Reclusium squad or whatever. You know, he's got toilet paper all over him. That, and what a horrible sculpt that is, man. That's like right back to the '80s. So I know I'm ranting about it now, but I just proved it right there, just right out the bat with these tracks that the Finecast was misaligned right off the bat. You know, and like I said, there's so much of this stuff, these vent lines to cut off. That's just more chances to cut into the actual mold, sculpt and screw it up. You know, sorry, you can't convince me. Metal's better. Um, yeah, people complain about metal chipping. Um, yeah, that's true. Um, I'll show you. This has really upset me, and I haven't got around to fixing them yet. This is one of my better painted figures that I was really happy with as far as tabletop finish. And then my dog got a hold of him and ate him. And you can see that the paint has chipped here. It's glaring because it's metal. There it is. The paint chipped there, there on the cloth, which I hate painting. So chipped on the cloth there and there. Somehow he actually got a tooth in his mouth. I just noticed that. So his lower teeth are gone. Um, the base was done. That's gone. Yeah, because it ripped away there. His arm came off. This little line right here. Got smushed. There's nothing. I can't really do nothing about that. It just painted again. Um, this guy got screwed up. But would I have been more upset if he was plastic and he was totally destroyed by my dog? Probably. I mean, it's the difference between touch-up paint and an entirely new model. I don't know. You decide. Um, I mean, that's the thing about metal. Like, you drop this guy on the floor, his arm's gonna pop off because it wasn't pinned; it was just glued, and the paint might chip. If it's plastic, yeah, it may not break, you know. But if you use the plastic glue and not super glue, not this stuff. If you use plastic glue, your plastic welds itself, so actually where you glue becomes stronger than other parts of the model. So yeah, I got to glue his arm back on and do touch-up work, but I don't have to buy a new librarian, you know, or the dog would have, maybe his main body would be fine, but the arm would be like ripped off. Both arms would probably be gone, and not broken at the joints, So I don't know. Finecast is Failcast, and that's all I'll ever call it because that's all it's ever been for me. Uh, didn't fix the issues with the Thunderfire Cannon, as we saw. Tried to fit these together. Oh, no, it's got to go like that. So, still wonky as hell. Um, that's going to be easier to fix than the metal one, yes. But for what is so incredibly expensive and is sold as the finest miniatures in the world, this is bullshit.